Gasoline is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, and the following sponsors. I'm Michael Curson, producer, creator of Gasoline. Hope you enjoy.
Well, viewers, look who I've found here. None other than John Bow. Mate, every time I go to a race meeting, you're there.
I love it. I think this is fantastic. It's full historic race meeting. I see cars that I read about when I was a kid. I see lots of people that are car enthusiasts like me, so it's just terrific. Even though I'd love to be driving, I'm not. I've put myself around the pits, but no one's offered. Although Dennis O'Brien's going to let me drive his Holman and Moody Galaxy in the parade, so I think I'll still be in first gear, but at least I'll be out there. And it's just an awesome event. The VHRR do a terrific job with this. They do Sandown later in the year, Phillip Island in February, so you know it's just a great thing for car people like me.
This big lightweight Galaxy with that big 427, I bet you can't wait to feel the torque and the grunt of that thing.
Well, actually, I've driven it before. We did a story at Calder Park about 6 or 8 months ago, maybe a bit longer, for Unique Cars magazine, and I drove it there, and it's so heavy in the steering. I don't know how they drove them, honestly, in the day. They must have been very tough people. But I had to let the steering wheel go at the end of the back straight after I'd turned right to be able to get it straight again to turn left, and I nearly broke my thumb because the spoke on the steering wheel whacked my thumb as it went past, just about dislocated it, so I hope it doesn't do that today.
What a brute of a thing, mate. Well, thanks for talking to us, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the rest of the weekend.
Mate, I've got to congratulate you on your show. Gasoline's a fantastic show for rev heads like me, so keep it up.
Thanks very much, mate. We really appreciate it.
Good on you.
Well, here's a familiar face here at the Winton Festival of Speed, none other than Eddie Woods from Head Stud Developments. Eddie, great weekend up here, isn't it, mate?
Sensational, Glenn. It's fantastic weather, good racing weather, and it's a great crowd, yeah.
And there's a car here behind us that's very familiar to me, a good friend of mine, the late Ian Jones, and he was a good friend of yours too. That's
correct, yes. This car, or this engine, the engine that was originally in the car and the head stud go back many, many years, and it's quite famous. It's quite... It tugs at the heartstrings a little bit to see the car because Ian was a good friend, and this is the first car that we did a cylinder head on that made over 320 horsepower.
Well, I remember in the day, Ian used to drop in quite a bit with me when I was racing HQs, and he said, I'm going to give you a drive of the black car one day, and I was so excited, and unfortunately he passed away, and it was very sad, but the car was a groundbreaking car in the day, wasn't it?
It was, and it was an immaculate little car, and he actually used to test it around Capella Crescent, so quite often he'd be seen of an evening testing the car around the streets. It was a good stepping stone.
And we're talking like 20 years ago, aren't we?
Yes, it would be, yeah. So it was a really good learning curve for us, and we do stuff to these engines or these cylinder heads now, which has enabled us to make over 330 horsepower out of them. Which when
outstanding.
When you think of what they came out with, you know, wow, that's pretty awesome.
Well, Eddie, I look forward to trying those big 4V heads you ported for Project Warhorse, mate. Can't wait to test those babies out. And thanks for talking to us.
No worries. Thank you very much. See you later.
And don't forget, viewers, to look up the all-new Shannons Club. Shannons Club is a huge site. It's like a hub for enthusiasts. you jump on there. You can start your own garage, put pictures of your cars up there, stories of your cars, videos, you name it. You'll see people like myself on there, Jim Richards. Click on our garages and check out some of our machines and some of our past machines. It's an incredible site, it's growing every day, so get onto it and have a ball. Well, I've got to say, I got a mighty shock when I saw a NASCAR screaming down the straight here at the Winton Festival of Speed. We're with Simon Landrigan here, mate. Tell us what's going on. A NASCAR at the Historics.
Yeah, screaming's probably a strong word. It was the first run in the car Friday, so still learning the ropes. But we're hoping to get an historic class running for the cars, the ones that ran at the Thunderdome over the years and at places like the Indy Circuit and the Grand Prix and things like that. So this is a start.
Awesome, and they tell me there's a few cars still out floating around in circulation.
We know we're about 25 or 30 of them are. I just had a guy turn up this morning. He's got the one and only EB NASCAR, so he's got that sitting in a shed. So what we want to do is find where these cars are, and if the people who've got them aren't going to use them, sell them to someone who will, hopefully, and away we go.
Unbelievable, mate. That'd be fantastic. I've got to say, I'm a NASCAR fan. I've been watching Marcus Ambrose lately, and he's been getting me real fired up. Tell us about the car. Tell us some specs on the car and the sort of power it makes and the RPM you turn it to.
Just under 700 horsepower. I wasn't running it to hard enough revs, so the boys got up me last night and said go harder. We were pulling 8,800 revs there in that last session, and things are expensive to build, so hopefully that's not going too high for my engine builder. 358 cubic inch Chev motor, and basically full NASCAR spec. I think originally built by John Sidney, so awesome bit of kit to drive.
And trans and rear end, what do they run?
The Ford 9-inch rear end, and it's got a Super T10 4-speed in it at the moment, and I'm glad it's only got 4 speeds because that's less for me to muck up.
And what's it like to drive? Is it a big heavy car? Does it handle all right?
It's pretty heavy over the tight twisty bits, but when you get a corner right it feels really good, and it's got loads of power, like no third gear, you're just spinning the wheels when you plant the foot and things like that, so there's a lot to learn, but having fun doing it.
I've got to say, if someone offered me a drive of one of these things, I would not knock it back. Thanks for talking to us, Simon.
No worries, thank you.
Well, we're back in the pitch with David Brown here and his rapid little Datsun 1600. Now, some of you may think he looks a little bit familiar. That's because he's the man that did the roll cage in Project Warhorse. He's also done a roll cage in the producer's car, the LJ XU1 of Michael Curson's. Absolutely wrapped with that job, and it's good to see you out the track having a bit of fun yourself, mate.
Great to be here, having a lot of fun. Really is good fun. That's why I want you guys to get your cars finished too and come and join us and have fun.
They're coming. We're so busy making gasoline. It's a bit hard at the moment. We'll get there. And how are you finding the little Datsun out here on this nice, tight and twisty track?
Look, it's really good around the twisty stuff. It's really great under brakes, but unfortunately, even some of the cars in my class just have more power than I do, and so I just can't keep with them in a straight line. But look, it's great fun to drive, it's easy to drive, and yeah, really, really good fun.
Now, you mentioned at one stage you were going to build another 1600, is that right? Something a little bit lighter?
Well, this is the one.
Oh,
the first car that I ran was, in fact, my old rally car, but this is actually a specially built racing car, so this is the lighter one as a proper race car. So, and it's a few seconds a lap quicker than the old car was, so, which is good as a start. So we still haven't sorted it, but we'll get there.
Well, it's great to see you having fun out there, Dave, and I tell you what, if it rains out here, big boys in their V8s and 6 cylinders, look out, because this little thing's going to be right on their tail.
Yeah, the little cars, you sort of want rain, but then when the weather's like this, to be honest, it's too enjoyable to even have the rain and do well. So it's a double-edged sword. What do you do?
Thanks for talking to us, Dave.
Pleasure.
We're the Gasolene Twins. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Well, we're back in the pits here with Carolyn Kruger and her awesome DR30 Group A Skyline. Great weekend here, isn't it, Carolyn?
Fantastic weekend here this weekend. Weather's perfect, everything's perfect.
And tell us a little bit about the car. This is the ex-George Fury car, isn't it?
Ex-George Fury car. First race was Bathurst in '86 with George Fury and Glenn Seaton driving it. And last race was the Adelaide Grand Prix in '87.
Awesome stuff. Now, you're driving the car this weekend?
I've been driving in the regularity this weekend because I'm still learning to drive the car, and Luke Ellery is driving it in the Group A, Group C race.
I noticed in the Group A, Group C race, the car's well up the front of the field, sometimes in front. That's a good effort.
It's a great effort from Luke. The car is just it's the oldest Group A car out there, and yeah, it's doing really well.
They're a tough little motor, these FJ20s, aren't they?
FJ20s are awesome little motors. Speaking to Fred Gibson, he said you can put as much horsepower through them as you like. It's just the turbos that don't like it.
There's a little bit of a story goes that back in the day, Nissan were going to get into Formula One. They were designing a 1.5 litre four-cylinder engine, and that never happened. And I heard that the FJ20 was sort of stemmed from that design.
That's a story that I've heard too. I'm not sure how much fact there is in that, but I heard exactly the same thing, that the FJ20 was designed as a Formula One engine.
What sort of horsepower does this car make in Group A form?
At the moment it makes about 225 kilowatts at the wheels, so I'm not sure what that is at the flywheel, but back in its day it was on avgas, it was about 276 at the fly. So.
Okay, well that's about 220 at the wheels, around about 400 horsepower at the flywheel, so that's not hanging about. It's not a heavy car, is it?
No, it weighs about 1,000 kilos dry, so it's a very light little car.
Well, Carolyn, great talking to you. I know you've been an absolute car nut for many years. I've known you for a little while now, and it's great to see you here today.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Nice to talk to you.
You too.
Thank you.
Former Kiwi World Champion was a great icon to the sport. Okay, please go now.
historic Sandown return of the Thunder and see classics, muscle cars, those insane Formula 5000s and much, much more. Don't miss it. See vhrr.com for more details.
Well, we're with Rod Hatfield here in his L34 Group C Tirana. How's it been going for you, mate?
Very good, all good. We've got a third place for the weekend, so we've had a good weekend. Really good.
And tell us about the history of the car. Who did it belong to originally?
The car's dustings of dealership of Burwood in Melbourne. The Rod and Russ McRae were the drivers back in the day. The first car they built, the 74 car, was written off on Conrod Straight. It aquaplaned and hit a tree very high up. So this is the second car they built, which is for 75. That's the colour scheme it's in, 75.
And tell me, in this modern day and age, the engines, what sort of power are they making now compared to what they used to in the day?
We're about 40 horsepower up, flywheel horsepower. We're average around 400 horsepower.
And you've got the dual side draft Weber carburation set up on it?
We've got all the good gear on the L34. We've got the Aussie 4-speed and the Banjo diff, but that's the hard stuff, but that's how they ran. We keep it going that way, but no, all good.
Yep. And I hear you've got a couple of other race Group C vehicles as well. What are they, mate?
I've got the SLR 5000 of Peter Brock and Colin Bond shared. That's the first one, LH V8 Tirana. And we're in the middle of doing up Graham Hurley from WA, his A9X hatchback.
Lucky man, mate. What a collection. Well, thanks for talking to us, mate, and I look forward to catching up with you next time.
No worries. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, here we are back at Rocket Industries once again, so let's go inside and take a look around.
Well, I'm like a kid in a candy store here at Rocket Industries, folks. I'm a real sucker for an engine like this. I wonder if the wife would let me take this thing home and keep it in the lounge room. I don't think so. Isn't it beautiful? This Edelbrock, 410 horsepower, 408 foot-pound of torque, 350 small block Chevy. It's got a world of top quality components in it too. These little 350 Chevy small blocks are a great engine and they'll go night and day. But the foundations are awesome with this. It's got a brand new ZZ 4-bolt GM short engine as its base. Super tough, rev the daylights out of them, they just go and go and go. And of course it's topped with the ever so popular Edelbrock Performer RPM aluminium cylinder heads. The Edelbrock Performer RPM intake manifold, and also Edelbrock again 800 CFM carb. That baby's going to make this thing breathe like you wouldn't believe. Got a huge 8-inch balancer on the front of it. That'll dampen out those vibrations for a perfect balance. Brand new distributor, all ready to go with the perfect curve to suit this engine. It even comes with a Victor aluminium series water pump. Bolt that thing on, ready to go. And you know what? It even comes with its own braking oil with added zinc. Now, it's important to make sure that you do utilise a zinc oil, especially in the break-in period in a brand new engine like this. You do that sort of thing properly, you set those foundations right, and this thing will last for years. So 410 horsepower, 408 foot-pound of torque, all for $7,799. That's what I call a bargain of an engine. To download your free copy of the Rocket Industries and Aeroflow Performance Parts catalogues, go to the sponsor section at the Gasolene website. Click on the links and download away. With over 650 combined pages of performance parts and accessories, you're sure to find everything you need for your car.
Stay tuned for more Gasolene.
The 2012 Rocket Open Day. It's a huge event. You've got show and shine, rods, customs, muscle cars. There'll be a massive clearance sale with huge discounts on selected items. Then, of course, there's the nitro-burning nostalgia race car fire-up. Those things sound absolutely insane. Saturday, 17th of November from 8:30 to 3:30 p.m. Don't miss it. Bring your car, in fact, bring your whole family. It's an event you'll truly enjoy. Viewers, just a reminder not to forget the Sandown Historics. It's almost there. November 9 to November 11. It's going to be a massive event. You'll see the muscle cars that we all love, just like Project Warhorse here. I better get this thing finished, eh? Then you'll see your Group A and Group C touring cars and those incredible Formula 5000s. There's nothing like them. It's going to be a huge event. I'll see you down there. Now here's an event to mark on your calendar for 2013, the Gasolene Muscle Car Expo. There's never been an event like this one, where some of Australia's very best concourse American and Australian muscle cars come together under one roof. Also featured by special invitation, barn finds, street machines, special interests and 50s classics. If you have a concourse standard muscle car or any vehicle that you think might be eligible to enter this event, then contact Michael Curson via the Gasolene website. This one is going to be huge. And remember viewers, if you want to see past Gasolene episodes, go to shannons.com.au. Click on the Gasolene link and enjoy. And remember, this is a whole new season of Gasolene with new episodes every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m, Australia-wide.
Gasolene is proudly brought to you by Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts, and the following sponsors. I'm Michael Curzon, producer creator of Gasolene. Hope you enjoy.